Hello everybody, and welcome to another video on classic planters. Our Kinze informational service segments today are going to be on the row unit. My name is Phil Jennings.
My name is Brandon Veneman.
And our classic 3000 series, or now the 3005 series planter row units, we're actually going to break up into a couple of different segments today so we can get the detail we need. First one, we're going to go through what we're expecting it to do and some of the very basic wear components and what is worn out, when should we replace parts. There will be another informational segment coming that we're going to talk more in detail about infield adjustments as well. So if we get started, the 3005 series, the 3000 series, we're going to use those interchangeably. What are we asking the planter row unit to do? Direction of travel, obviously, we may have a no-till attachment on the front where we're tilling a narrow strip. We've now got a series of opener disc blades that are opening a seed trench, a depth gauge wheel to set the depth of that seed placement. And as we come back through, we're placing the seed from the metering device into the furrow, and then our V-type closing wheels are closing that furrow up, giving us the seed to soil contact for good germination and emergence. Realize on a classic planter, we're asking all of this to happen typically between 5 and 6 miles per hour. So the mechanical condition of these row units is extremely important to make sure that we keep the consistency of placement in all of those actions. It's that consistency of depth, the consistency of seed placement, the consistency of seed to soil contact, which is ultimately going to provide us with the best possible yield potential out there, regardless of what Mother Nature throws at us. So let's take a look at the inside of this row unit and look at those wear items. All right, once again, starting at the front, we alluded to in our frame video how important it is for these parallel arms to run parallel. This is that toolbar height, that 20 to 22 inches that we talked about from the bottom of the toolbar to the planting surface. It's a really good opportunity also to take a look now at the difference between a 3000 and a 3005. The 3000 series parallel arms, this is what we've been used to for years and years. We did have a replaceable bushing, but the arm itself was considered a wear item. We could actually egg those holes out and get loose over time. The 05 series brought about a revised set of parallel arms, which added material, added strength, and then added a second bushing inside. So now the parallel arm itself is no longer a wearing item. We can replace the bushing and the insert to completely bring these back to a zero tolerance or a new spec after years of service. Parallel arms, running level. Our disc opener blades are our primary soil engaging component, regardless of what attachment you may have on the front. And it's very important that these disc opener blades meet at the very front. There's a contact point in the leading edge as this enters the soil profile that must be together, otherwise we can see foreign material enter inside the row unit. So it's very important that we maintain a contact point in this area. Now, it's a measured contact point, right, Brandon?
Yep. Yeah. So we utilize some shims, guys, on either side of our disc opener. We are looking for an inch plus or minus half of blade-to-blade contact at our leading edge. We're going to check that with a 5,000 shim. So traditionally in the past, some of you guys may have used business cards, for example. That's a little too thick. We're going to want to use 5,000 shim or a standard piece of notebook paper.
Okay, white paper. So guys, this blade-to-blade contact is important to check annually. The blades themselves start at 15 inches in diameter. We've got a full-size opener blade. Here's a good reference to see what a worn-out blade looks like. We're going to tell you that when that blade measures 14.5 inches across, that you've gotten the useful life out of that blade. It's time to replace it. So along the way, the disc opener blade has a set of shims in behind it. Those shims are adjustable over time so that you can maintain that clearance. One good thing to note about the attachment bolt for the disc opener blade, and that is on the right-hand side of the row unit, and this is always facing direction of travel, The right-hand side is right-handed threads. The left-handed side is left-handed threads. So if you're doing your own service work out there, remember that that disc opener retaining bolt is left-handed threads on the left-hand side. Also in the inside the shank area, the wear item to look at is what we call the seed tube guard, inside scraper, sometimes even referred to as a frog. This item starts out at the base at approximately 7/8 of an inch wide. And it's what's the inside is riding on, and it's protecting that seed tube inside the shank, so I have a very consistent and uniform seed placement into the row. When I reduce the size of this below 3/4 or below 5/8 of an inch, right, 5/8 of an inch or less, I've then removed the ability for it to protect that seed tube itself, and it should be replaced. On the 3000 series row units, that is replaceable by removing the seed tube, and you can come in from the backside to remove the 1/4 inch Allen screws without having to disassemble the rest of the row unit. All right, gauge wheel that pivots on the outside. That gauge wheel also needs to contact the disc opener blade in that same leading edge area during field operation. So if I were to hold the gauge wheel up in the operated position, the rubber edge of that wheel should ride against the blade here. At no time should it ever stick or be refrained from turning, but at least 50% of the rotation, that wheel rubber should engage the disc blade on the leading edge of that for proper adjustment. Now, wetter conditions, drier conditions, field residue, it's going to keep material, once again, from entering inside that shank and possibly disrupting the seed into the seed trench.
Yep.
All right. Those are the primary wear items on the row unit. These are the soil engaging components that should be checked on an annual basis. And it's pretty important, as we talked about, with the amount of speed that we're working with, the consistency that we're demanding that this row unit maintain, to make sure that we're getting that seed trench opened, the depth of placement set correctly. And then on the outside of the disc opener blade, guys, we also have the outside scraper. Guys, these scrapers on the classic planters are something that we're pretty well all familiar with. They have a mild steel formed top. The riveted blade underneath is a spring steel material. And over time, we're going to start to see them wear a little bit. These are subjective, guys, as long as they're making contact with the outside of the disc opener blade. And the adjustment truly is a manual adjustment. If we need to, we can bend them in or bend them out just a little bit. Just so long as they're making light contact to remove any extra dirt that may be riding around the outside of the blade. Once we get past the bend and up towards the attachment rivets, it's time to get those replaced. And once again, once the new ones are put in place, just to check to make sure that they have a light contact to the disc opener blade. And then we talked about closure. Are closing wheels a wear item, Brandon?
Depends on the user.
Depends on the user. Guys, the 3000 series or classic row unit closing wheel arms do have some wear points that we want to look at briefly as well. The adjustment and the pivot for the gauge wheel, it is once again a bushing inside of a bushing. Very hardy design, but something we'll want to take a look at and make sure that the bushing doesn't need replacement. And then while we are not equipped with the plastic spike gauge wheel, those are something that can wear over time. Recognize that the rubber V closer or the plastic spiked gauge wheel or closing wheel can be reversed. So as we do see wear occur, we start getting into the rim, we can simply reverse those wheels and make sure that we get all the useful wear life out of them. Now, a lot of these wear items are also, from a Kinze repair part standpoint, available in kits as well. So as you're looking at doing your planter inspections, talk to your dealer about getting those parts ordered and look at the price break opportunities involved with the kit pricing. All right. With that, we will wrap up this segment of the 3005 series of the classic planter row unit and the wear life characteristics of the row unit. Thank you.